Hey everybody, welcome to Lex's Lounge. How you all doing? So I decided I'm going to record a little episode outside again because I really enjoyed doing it last time. I find that the background noise actually doesn't interfere that badly with anything. First thing I wanted to mention was I'm glad you guys enjoyed my last episode. Like, a lot of people really liked it quite a bit. After a week out, it's at 100% like ratio and more views than I normally get. So I guess you guys want to hear a couple more story times about my loss prevention days. So today I'll do another one. This is the story of my most significant, longest foot chase as a loss prevention officer. So the way it started was I was walking around the bay in West Edmonton Mall when suddenly I get a call on the radio from the guy who works at Zeller's, Andrew, who was in the last story as well. And Andrew says to me, "Whoa, there's a guy in my store right now who we arrested about 6 months prior for stealing sneakers, and we also banned him from the store for a year. So he's back in the store in Andrew's, and he is currently stealing a pack of batteries. Plus, he shouldn't be in there because he's banned." So Andrew says that he's going to try to arrest him for trespassing and theft, and he wonders if I want to join him. So it's pretty slow in my store, so I run right over to Andrew, and sure enough, the fellow, we'll call him Jerry, that's not his real name, but Jerry, who's kind of a young, tall, skinny kid in his early 20s, kind of dresses like a gangster, is making his way out of the store. And right about the time I get there, suddenly he notices me and Andrew behind him. And obviously he knows us since we've arrested him in the past, so he bursts into a run. First thing he does is he heads south and crosses a relatively busy road, and several cars have to kind of avoid him. So we're like, holy crap, he's going far to avoid this arrest and ticket over trespassing, because we didn't think he was going to get charged with anything over battery theft. So he runs across the street, and me and Andrew kind of try to find a safer way across when there's a safe moment to do so, and then we try to catch up to him. He runs into a suburban area, and we keep gaining on him and losing him. He's running over people's yards. He's jumping over fences into their backyards. Like I said, this kid is skinny and lanky, so he's a fast runner. But this is also me at like 20, so we're keeping up. So this chase goes on for over half an hour. We're just going and going. We constantly lose sight of him, but then we constantly find him again because this is sort of a closed loop neighborhood. So finally we lose sight of him for like the 6th time, and I go, "Andrew, we're kind of screwed here for continuity." In other words, we lost sight of the batteries that he stole way too much. We can no longer guarantee that he has them, and he's no longer committing the trespassing right in that moment. At most, if he were to produce the batteries to us, we could arrest him for possession of stolen property, but that's about the extent of it. And I say, plus, we've been running around forever, and now we don't even know where he is. And then we both think about it, and we go, hey, we kind of remember his address, his rough address, from the last time we arrested him. So we know which bus he needs to get from the mall back to where he lives. What if we just go to the big transit center by West Edmonton Mall and look for him? So we walk back there, it takes about 10 minutes, and sure enough, we find him on the back of a bus waiting to get home. And what a fool he is. He didn't even drop the batteries, and he produced them upon request. So we arrested him for the possession of stolen property and brought him back, and he was at that point chargeable by the police with trespassing. But the really funny part of that story was, why did this guy run? Because this guy has been arrested just by us before. He's been arrested by a lot of other people before. He was like a regular thief in the department store circles. So I was like, man, Jerry, like, what's the deal? Why did you run like that? He wouldn't tell us. But when the cops showed up, they were like, "Oh, there you are. We've been looking for you." Turns out he had 16 outstanding warrants, which is not the most I ever saw in working loss prevention on a guy under arrest, but it certainly explained why he put so much effort into running away from us over a confrontation about batteries and trespassing. So there you go, guys, a little fun loss prevention story for you. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk about is politics, because that's just what I'm into. I wanted to know what you guys think of this Pete Buttigieg. That is how you say his name, Boot-edge-edge, though his husband states that Buddha-judge is also acceptable. I prefer Buttigieg. In any case, since I've kind of been analyzing all of the Democratic primary contenders for a while, it's kind of interesting to run into a guy who I know nothing about, that I have to do the research on from scratch and figure out, okay, what kind of person is this? And the overall conclusion is that this is a good person. He's a guy who's intelligent, who has intellectual curiosity, who is a progressive, maybe not progressive like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren are progressive, or like Tulsi Gabbard is progressive, and for that reason he's not at the top of my list, but you know, he does have progressive policies, and he names Bernie Sanders as one of his role models from way back in the day, so certainly a progressive fellow. Other than that, he seems like just a generally good guy, and he certainly is qualified to be president, despite being relatively young. If anything, I think that's an advantage to him this time. It was one of the big reasons I like Tulsi Gabbard, because of how young she was. Except Pete Buttigieg is even more of an outsider, so good for him. So I think that he's going to take the wind out of Beto O'Rourke's sails quite easily, and he might even siphon off a little bit of Joe Biden's support. But yeah, again, let me know what you guys think of him, because it's kind of interesting to be faced with a totally new face about whom people don't really have a fixed opinion, and yet somehow he's polling in third or fourth in many national polls, which is pretty impressive this far out for a guy who 2 months ago was a total nobody. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe, hit that like button if you did, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.